Okay, so I've gotten several questions about how do you create a drawing on Creo. So I'll walk through the steps, the basic steps again, slowly. If you already know how to do it and you're finished, don't worry about it, just ignore me. But if you're still having trouble, I'm gonna walk through these steps for you. Okay, first thing is select your working directory and usually find the place where you're saving all your files. I'm just gonna use a part maybe from the assembly lesson that we went over. All right. Then I'm going to go new. And instead of creating a part this time, I'm going to create a drawing. And let's say this is, we could say this is the car drawing is maybe what I want to call it. And then OK. Now, there are plenty of templates that you can use here. I'm going to say empty with format and then go to browse. And I'm going to say this A form. Now what this does is actually puts a nice little border around your paper. So I'm going to use that. And it says the default model. And if you already have a model open, it probably says one of these, but I'm going to go to browse. And maybe let's do the car body. I think that would be a, well, yeah, car body might be a good one to do. And select OK. And it comes up with this sheet of paper. This is the A form here, all this border around here. If you want to, if this doesn't show up, you can go to sheet setup and you can select something here. If you go to browse, you can find A form in there. So that's in sheet setup up here. So the first thing you need to do is insert a general view. So I'm going to click the general view button. And it prompts you with this. You could say no combined state and just click on the drawing where you want the part to show up. Now, how do you want this viewed? Well, I'm going to try the front. Maybe that's not the front. Maybe I don't want the front. Maybe I want the top. I think so. And I can reorient this any way I want. I kind of want this laying horizontal. I don't really want it standing up vertical like this. So maybe I'll go to geometry references instead, and I'll select this surface as the front, and maybe I want this surface at the bottom. Let's see if that works. Yeah, so laying horizontal like that is probably better, especially when the right view here is going to show all the detail over on this side. So that might be a good thing. But before I OK this, under view display, I'm going to say hidden, because a lot of times in drawings, we don't want colors being applied because not many people print in color. So we need to be able to see everything in black and white. OK, so here I got this stupid coordinate system showing up. So I'll just deselect all of these. And that should get rid of that, making it easier to see. And from here, with this selected, I can create top and right views if I just use projection view. So with this selected, I go to projection view, and I'll have the top view, and then I'll click this again, and projection view, and now I have the right view. Now in these two, I still need to change my view display to hidden. I'll do that. This one also needs to be view display hidden. Okay, so I have a good start of my drawing. If I want to move things around, I need to uncheck this box, and now I can drag things a little bit. Maybe get it positioned a little bit better, leave room for dimensions. If you really want, you could put another general view up at the corner here. And let's say you want some isometric view or something like that up there, but I'm not going to do that. Okay, so now that we have the views laid out here, we need to create dimensions. The easiest thing to do is highlight all these views. So I'm going to hold down Control and click all three of these views. And then under the Annotate tab is where we create dimensions. I'm going to click the Annotate tab and then Show Model Dimensions. And there are a ton of dimensions here, but I'm just going to select them all. And then underneath this last tab here, this little tab, that puts in all our axes as well. So I'm going to select all those as well. So select all those and hit apply. And now I kind of just have a mess that I need to deal with here. So now a large part of this is just straightening out the mess. So I may drag some of these down. Let's see if I can organize this a little bit better. See how those arrows on that diameter are kind of in a bad location? If I'm dragging this and I right click, I can flip the dimension there. Maybe I want that to go up here. Let's straighten these out a little bit. We don't want dimensions overrunning on top of each other if we can prevent it. And I got a mess here too, so let's dimension this properly. That's not really telling me much. I'll delete that dimension. Okay. And if you want to, so for example, these dimensions here are shown in this view, but I can move those to the right view as well. So if I click here and then right click, I can say move to view, maybe, I think it's this button, move to view. Select that, and let's say I want to move it to this view. There we go. And that helps out because it minimizes the amount of dimensions I have at this view. To make sure our extension lines are appropriate lengths, right? You need a little bit of a gap there. I'm going to move this back a little bit to provide a little gap in between that and the center line. And flip these, well. And maybe I want to move some of these dimensions from the top view because it looks like the top view, it has a majority of the dimensions here. I would like to move some of these down to the front view. So maybe the 6 can be moved down. I'm going to select that and say move to view. And now it's on this view, which I think I like better. Let's see, maybe I'll move this 2.5 down as well. So move that to this view. And let's see if we can get this out of the way. Kind of want to flip that arrow. There we go. Flip that text there, get that over there. And continue on with just tidying up the space a little bit. That's really what we're trying to do. Move to view, I'll move it here. Now if I want to make the text smaller, how do I do that? Anybody look into that? Huh? Anybody? I think I put that on Moodle. There's on Moodle there is a, let's go back into, where are we at? Creo, change the font size and arrows. So if the arrows are too big and getting in the way, you can change the text height, for example. So you go to File, Prepare Drawing Properties. So File, Prepare Drawing Properties. And change detail options here. And you can find options such as text height. It's currently set at 0.15625. I can change that to 0.1. And let's do that, add change and apply. And that changes all my text to a smaller text. So that might help a little bit so you can fit more dimensions in here. I wouldn't go too much smaller than 0.1 though. Maybe we want to switch this dimension to this view. Oh, where'd it go? Oh, there it is. I don't know what that's dimensioning to. See that? It's kind of out in the middle of nowhere. See this extension line? I don't know what that's supposed to be dimensioning to. Unless there's a plane or something out here that's trying to dimension to. So maybe we need to change some of these dimensions. So if I go into annotate, and I can actually make my own dimensions if I want. So for example, from here, hold down Control or Shift. Which one is it? Let's try that again. There we go. Holding down Control. So maybe 5.85 there is a better dimension to this than the 6, which is kind of out in the middle of nowhere. So I'll delete that. And same with this 1.5. So I'll dimension this. Hold down Control. There we go. So that's 1.35 instead, and now I can delete at 1.5. So there, it looks like my front view is looking pretty good in terms of dimensions. It's nice and clean, neat. I think a lot of the dimensions are already there. There's no dimensions overlapping other dimensions. So that's looking pretty good to me. My top view is still a little messy, which I think it needs some work, but if I move some dimensions over to other places here, I think we would have it. So for example, if I move this dimension, oh, I'm still in the dimension tool here. Let's click this and say move to view, and then we'll move it over to this view here. So make sure the extension lines are correct to the right spot, something like that. And it's starting to clean up quite nicely here, which is a good thing. So I think, is there any other questions on this? Yeah. Down here? So let's take a look at the assignment here. So in the assignment, it looks like you need to have the name of the part, units, date, and name of the organization. All right. So let's put in a note. Let's see, right up here, a note. And you can put in here, we can say, this is the hamster car body. And then the date, we can also put in the date here. If I go back and make a new note, this is October 20th, 2020. Go back to annotate a new note. Maybe I'll put my name here, Brian Johns. So you can put in all that. Does that answer your question? So all of that information needs to go on your drawing here. So name of the part, unit, I forgot the units. So maybe I'll move my name somewhere else down here, and I could say, all dimensions in inches, or something like that. And, you know, to save this, you can go to File, Save As, and then Export. And you can export this to almost any style that you want, just with PDF here, and choose Export. And this is going to save in this directory. And that's, let me see if I can find that now. On my H drive, assembly lesson, there should be a PDF in here. Yeah, there it is. So this is what you would turn in as part of your assignment. This is still messy. I would clean this up. This is looking a lot better. This, I might drag the numbers out here. But yeah, this is a little hard to read. So if I was to make any changes, I'd clean this up a little bit up here, and I would also maybe change the scale. Oh, close export. The scale down here, maybe I'd make it a little bigger, maybe 0.7 or something like that. So it comes out a little bigger and it's a little easier to see. How to change the dimension? Yeah, if you want to choose a different, so when you go to show model annotations, it kind of just does the default of how you made the part. But if you want to change things around, you can just use the dimension tool up here. And then with that selected, you should be able to click one surface and then hold down Control and click another surface, and you should be able to get another dimension. So be careful, you don't want your part over dimension though. So usually if you add a dimension, you need to delete one dimension off.